and welcome back to another gluten-free, lactose-free and yeast-free baking video. How are we doing today? Today I'm going to be making Sorted Foods recipe for Jaffa Cakes. Let's hope that this recipe that I do from them goes a lot better than the last one I did. And of course they are going to be gluten-free, lactose-free and yeast-free. You will be needing the following equipment: 2 measuring jugs, some scales, a chopping board, a knife, a juicer or an orange squeezer or juicer is completely optional, a grater or zester, a shallow baking tray, mine is a 34cm oven tray, some cling film, I'm absolutely dreading this, a 12-hole muffin or cupcake tray, some spray oil, a pastry brush, a small whisk or a teaspoon, a saucepan, some water. You want enough to cover the bottom of your saucepan so that it doesn't boil dry as soon as you turn it onto a simmer or a boil, but then you want it to not touch the bottom of your mixing bowl. A trivet and or a cooling rack, 2 large mixing bowls, an electric hand whisk, a spatula, a round cookie cutter. You want one to be slightly smaller than the size of your sponges, so I'm using a 4.5cm one. A palette knife, I'm actually using an offset one. You will also be needing the following ingredients: 1 packet of orange jelly, 2 separate amounts of 150ml of water. You will need one that is cold and one that is boiling to melt the jelly. 1 orange juiced and zested, 50 grams of caster sugar, 2 medium-sized eggs, 50 grams of gluten-free self-raising flour, and 200 grams of dairy-free and lactose-free dark chocolate broken into little pieces. So, let's go! First things first, measure out and prepare all of your ingredients so that they're completely ready for you to use. And now we're going to begin preparing our trays. So for this we will be needing our shallow tray, our cling film, our 12-hole muffin or cupcake tray, our spray oil and our pastry brush. So we're going to have 2 separate trays, one for the jelly and one for the sponges. So I actually worked with cling film in a recipe recently and it actually made me want to scream every bad word under the sun to the world. So we're going to see how this goes, but you want to line the bottom of this and the sides of this tray. So let's just get a fair amount. Okay, no, don't stick, don't stick. See, this is why I think they always have it prepared before they put it on camera, because it is heck and a half to work with. There we go. Okay, reach that over. There we go, that's one. And the other one, so that actually went a lot better than I expected. So for this one, we're just going to put a few sprays into each hole, cavity, something like that. Okay, let's try with one. Oh, some of them need more. And then we're just going to, using our pastry brush, just spread that all around the edges of each hole, and mainly the bottoms as well. Okay, I'm just giving them all another quick spray. Good luck, really. And again. So now we're going to place these off to the side until 1, our jelly is finished melting, and 2, we've finished making our sponges. So now that we've done all that nasty prep work, it is now time to begin actually making our Jaffa Cakes. So for this you will be needing your 150ml of boiling water, your small mixing bowl, our small whisk or teaspoon, our broken up jelly, our 150ml of cold water and our orange juice. So to start with, we're going to place all of our jelly pieces into our small mixing bowl. There we go. Followed by our boiling water. And we're just going to mix that together until they become all dissolved, which shouldn't take very long. That smells absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see what it smells like when the orange juice is in there. Okay, quick tip. Mine didn't melt as quickly as I wanted it to. So I asked my mum what to do and she told me to put it in the microwave for 30 seconds because the boiling water somehow got cold quite quickly. So I've done that and this is practically all melted down. So now that this is all done, I am going to add my cold water and my orange juice. Oh shoot, there we go. And just give that a very quick mix around. This will just give the orange jelly even more orange flavour, which will taste amazing because it smells amazing. So now I'm going to need to work really quickly. So now that this is done, I'm going to need my cling filmed baking tray. I've actually grabbed my spatula as well, so I'm just going to tip this into my cling film tray. There we go. And just bring this up so it doesn't get too stuck in it, although I don't think I'm getting much of a choice in that matter. Okay, well that's as good as it's going to get for me. So now I'm going to place this into my fridge to set. And once that is done, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 degrees C on a conventional oven, 160 degrees C on a fan oven, or gas mark 4. So now we're going to begin making our sponges. So for this we will be needing our saucepan with our water in it, our hob, our first large mixing bowl, our spatula, our caster sugar, 2 eggs and orange zest, and finally our electric hand whisk. The reason we're using an electric hand whisk as opposed to a wooden spoon or just a whisk is that we're going to be whisking this for an incredibly long time, so we're going to need this. So to start with, we are going to turn on our hob and put it to a boil, which is... And then once this hits a boil, we're going to then take it down to a simmer. So that is now boiling, so I'm going to now... Oh shoot, I turned the thing off. And so now this is boiling, I'm now going to take it down to a simmer and get that nice and simmering away. So now that this is simmering, I'm going to add my large mixing bowl over the top. I'm then going to add my caster sugar, followed by my eggs, and I'm actually going to crack them into my caster sugar bowl first so that I lose the risk of adding shell to it. I'm actually going to add both in first before I add them in. There we go. Our eggs and our orange zest. So now I need to work quickly because that's going to start cooking the eggs. Move them over. I'm now just going to whisk this. Ooh. So now we're going to whisk this for about 6 to 8 minutes until it is at what Ben calls a ribbon stage. So that's basically very, very pale and thick and fluffy. I will show you that when it's finished whisking. Okay, so this is how I want it, I think. Well, I'm going to go for it. So now I'm going to take this off of my saucepan, being very, very careful about the steam. There we go. And now we're actually just going to turn this off, but we're going to keep this water because we're going to then use it again to melt our chocolate later. You may need to top it up a bit, I most certainly do, so if you do, don't worry about it. That is what I'm going to have to do. So now I'm just going to add my gluten-free self-raising flour to my mixing bowl, moving that out of my way. I've placed my mixing bowl on a trivet as well because I think that it's going to be super, super hot underneath and I don't want it to ruin my surface. So now we're going to very, very slowly fold this in because all of that air we've put into it, we don't want to lose any of it. That's what's going to make this a lovely sponge. This is going to take a little while, but as I say, and every time I do folding, it is going to be so worth it. So just take time. They'll be worth it when you eat it, I can tell you. So I would now say that that is all done. So now I'm going to grab my prepared cupcake tray. And now we're going to evenly spread this mixture between our 12 cupcake cases. So now we're going to place these into our preheated oven for 10 minutes. And then after that time, we're going to take them out of the oven and place them onto our cooling rack or our trivet to cool completely. So that is it, my cakes are out of the oven and have almost finished cooling. Just so you know, I put them in the wrong shelf, I got confused, and I put them in the top shelf and they needed more than the 10 minutes, they actually needed 12 minutes. So just when you bake them, keep an eye that they could be 10 to 12 minutes. and I don't know if that's because I put them on the wrong shelf or because of the flour difference, so just keep that in mind when you bake them. So now that we've done that bit and they are done, we are now going to start melting our chocolate. So for this you will be needing your saucepan, some more water. I actually needed to top up mine because when I mixed the eggs, the caster sugar and the orange zest, a lot of it sort of like evaporated, obviously. You will also be needing your hob, your second large mixing bowl, your spatula, your trivet and your dark chocolate. So to start with, I'm going to set my saucepan onto a simmer. So now that is on a simmer, I'm going to add my large mixing bowl on top, being careful of the steam, adding all of my chocolate in. And now I'm going to stir this all together, well, keep stirring this until all of the chocolate has melted. So that is all that nice and melted. So now, again, being careful of the steam, I'm just going to remove that bowl and place it off to the side and turn my hob off. So now I'm going to leave that off to the side to cool slightly while I grab my cooled cakes, my jelly and my cookie cutter. Okay, you will also be needing your palette knife for this part. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen our cooled sponges. There we go, leaving them in our tray. So just do that with the rest of them and I'll see you after that. And now that that is all done, we are going to cut out 12? We're going to cut out 12 circles from our jelly. Well, actually I'm just going to do one. Oh, I don't know how to get them out. Probably a palette knife, my love. Yeah. There we go. Not the most attractive circle in the world, but now we're going to place that into the centre of our sponge. Oh, come on, off you go. And now we're going to repeat this again with the rest of our cakes. That was the best one I've done so far, so now we're getting the hang of it. Yep, so it's literally just getting the feel of it for the first couple of ones and then getting on with it. Your hands are going to get really sticky at this point. Mine really are. So now that that's all done, we're going to place the jelly that you've got left over, which you can just eat as and how you want to, off to the side, and now we're going to grab our slightly cooled chocolate. So now I'm just going to top each of my cakes and jellied cakes, should I say, with my cooled chocolate. I've been hoping that by it cooling slightly that it won't melt the jelly, but I'm essentially just going to tip this on and evenly spread it. Because I'm not all for design or anything like that. I don't often make pretty stuff, and there is a reason for that. I did it wrong. When I instructed you to just simply pour it on because I don't care about presentation, turns out I do. I shouldn't have poured it on. I should have just used a tablespoon and put on a bit, spread it evenly with the tablespoon, but I haven't. So once you have finished pouring that all in, set it off to the side in your fridge, or just to the side because mine have cooled relatively quickly, and leave them to set. And that is it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description, as I love them all and wouldn't put them there if I didn't, including the link to the recipe for these lovely Jaffa cakes and the links to all of the flour and equipment you will need for this recipe. If you do make these at home, don't forget to tag me on Instagram and use the hashtag bakingwithvickiie so that I can see all your lovely creations. Also, don't forget to hashtag SORTEDfood and tag SORTEDfood so that they can see it as well. Let me know in the comments below of anything else you'd like to see me make gluten, lactose or yeast free, as I do them all. And finally, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time. Bye!